Need to go live and show you how I make my molds and stuff. Not quite sure which one anybody wanted us to make, but the easiest to pour is actually our pyramid. These are our molds. They are available if you want a set. This is our skull mold. This is our floater mold, and then this is our round mold. I don't know where the other part of my round mold is. So, all right, we're going to do our round mold. It's a two-part mold. So what we have to do is get a couple things ready. I literally have not. You guys are witnessing this in real time. Okay? So the first thing we have to do is get this mold put together. We have to get our wax ready and go from there. So let's go inside. I'm doing this at my house, in my kitchen, and on my porch. All right. So, first thing we're going to do, I actually have wax here that is on a heater from my wife's candles. Might do something with that. We are going to need the hot glue gun. I use the Gorilla Glue. Love the pink. It matches my eyes. Okay. These are the wicks that I use. They come pre-waxed. Set it in there. You could put hot glue on it if you want. I'll put that in after this heats up. All right. So now we're going to let that heat up. We have our waxed wick ready. All right. Now, time to size this. So we are using regular soy wax chips. I like the chips because they melt faster, and you can use them in the microwave. Here's our glue sticks, wicks. This is our sawdust. It's a mixture of apple, cherry, oak, black walnut, just a plethora of different sawdusts. I try to sift it with my fingers just so I can get the larger pieces out. So I don't want stuff like that. All right. We're going to size this. There's that much sawdust in there, and the reason why we use a lot of extra sawdust is it's going to compact after we pour the wax in. These are literally just floor shavings from the CNC router. So I have my makeshift island here. We have a good bit of wax there, but I'm gonna go ahead and pour a little bit more. We'll reclaim this. Try and use up what we can. Okay. And I don't have a particular recipe for this. I just do what feels natural to me. This is just my little cup lid. I got a Sheets cup. We have a stack of them. So I just use what I can and go from there. So the next order of business is going to be hot gluing the actual mold. My 11-year-old daughter is doing my videoing while we're waiting on this stuff. So we're going to take this in on the plate, take the lid, and take this. Okay. Let's put that there. All right, let's go in. So I have a few other things that I do to my sawdust that helps me. It's just something that I do. I won't give those secrets away because it does kind of give me an edge. So I'm showing you a basic setup, and you can actually improve your own setup. All right, there's that. Now this is going for 2 minutes. Okay. Two minutes. The mold is coming over here. I honestly didn't plan on doing a live like this, so nothing's set up. Nothing's ready to go. Okay. The mold is dusted, ready to go. Now I'm going to hot glue the seam. Okay, now we're coming around. I've used up a lot of that glue stick. Okay, let me go grab another stick real quick. The hot glue that I use is Gorilla brand, for no other reason than my wife uses it for her crafting. So I just thought, hey, maybe that'll work. Didn't really know what I was doing, so whenever I started doing this, okay. Two minutes is up on the wax. We're gonna check that real quick. We're gonna put a little dab of hot glue on this piece, and we're gonna push it down in on the center. Now we're just gonna let that, pull that because we're done there. I wish this wax was ready so I could show you a colored insert. Okay, so now we need to get an oven mitt. We're going to take our wax and our spoon and just kind of move it back and forth. You can see it's starting to gel on the bottom. Okay, get all that around. We'll go another minute. The goal for this is to go nice and slow so you don't burn it. You don't want the wax to boil. So now that's set, that's set. Okay, our actual mold is set and ready to go. Now it's just waiting on the wax. And then we'll move back outside. Right on. You can talk. They know you're recording.
I know, but like
we have 32 people watching. Do we have any questions coming up?
well, Mr. Jerome said, "What's up, old man?"
Oh, right on. What's up, Jerome? How are you? Doing a tutorial on the candles, as you see. So let's grab this.
Mr. Jerome also asks how to get cool like you.
You can't be cool like me. It takes a lot of getting beat up and being a nerd and everything like that. Okay. So we're going to stir this around because the hot wax is actually going to help melt the other pieces. Now, word to the wise, do not use your wife's good Pyrex cooking measuring cup. I bought this one specifically for the wax, specific spoon for the wax. As you guys saw, I have a whole little kit that I use. It's like a drug thing. The heroin addicts have their little drug kit. I have my little candle kit. So now we put this in. So far we're at 4 minutes for the wax. You want to zoom in on there and show them?
Mr. Colin Allen says, "You mentioned colors. What do you use to color the wax?"
They make different dyes and different fragrances. One of the things that I make is actually the wax right out of used up candles, like right over here. So this is a Walmart brand candle. All that's empty wax there. If you break through the top, you can actually utilize used wax. This is on a tart warmer. Okay, so now we've got our wax. It is good to go. We'll stir that around. There we go. See, now it's starting to really come out. Now, I want to take my paper plate with me, and the reason being is whenever you pour this, if it dribbles any, it'll catch it so that you don't get it on whatever you're pouring it. Okay. So now we're going to set that there. I'm going to grab my mold real quick. All right. You want to pour your candle wax at about 130 degrees to create binding. So the first thing that I do is I take my mold, I pour a little bit of wax in there, and I coat my edges just to make sure the hot glue is good and nothing's gonna pour out. Then I take a little bit of my sawdust, I put it down in there, and I pour a little more wax. Shake it around. Pour a little more sawdust. Now you'll see the bubbling happening. That's actually compressing the sawdust and soaking in. And I just move my mold around, move my wick around. That way it gives it a chance to actually soak into the sawdust. Pour a little more sawdust in. Okay, we're not up to the top yet. We'll let that soak just for a minute. Okay, now here comes the fun part of everything. Is I actually go around and pull my sawdust down a little bit so that I get a good finished wax cap. Let that soak in and over pour. Over pour a little. Okay. Move that wick around a little bit just to make sure. Now, what this does, by pouring the wax cap on top of it, you insulate the sawdust, okay? As I said, my sawdust is treated a little bit differently than probably what you're going to have. It's a recipe that I came up with over time. You know, you'll come up with yours. I can tell you it involves a drying process and an oiling process and stuff like that. You know, but I just have buckets and buckets of sawdust, and that's what I keep doing. So now at this point, all of my wax has absorbed into the sawdust. I have my wick cut fairly large. So we're going to take this and we're going to move it into the freezer. We're going to set that in there and set it and forget it. Come back in about, I don't know, half hour, check it. If it's solidified, we'll break it open. If not, we'll let it cool down once again for another half hour or an hour. And then from there, it should be ready to go. I like to let my candles set for 24 hours before we actually use them, but the ones that I burned earlier were less than a 3 hour from pouring the mold to finishing the mold. All right, so The molds, I can print them out for you, and you can get them from me, or you can print your own. All right? Any questions, darling?
Nope.
Nope. How many viewers?
We have 42.
Okay. All right, guys. So